Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing good. I've had something on my mind for a few days now, and it's time that I talk about it so that way I can think of something else. With all these school shootings and coming up on another anniversary of the Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting and the Tulsa shooting, everywhere I look, I see comments like, if they only had their fathers in the home, they, I don't know, I guess wouldn't go and get a gun, wouldn't go psycho, wouldn't shoot up places that have no reason to have a gun anywhere near. But what about the mothers that's not home? Why don't anybody ever say, well, maybe their mother screwed up? Or they spent too much time with their grandparents? Why does it always have to be because there's not a father in the home? You look back at some of the serial killers, some of them have had awesome experiences with both parents, and they still grew up and killed many people. One of the shooters, I think he was up in like Michigan or Wisconsin or something, was talking on an interview one time about how his dad and his grandpa used to take him fishing every weekend. He'd come home and his mama would be baking cookies with his grandma. But yet, he went and shot up a school somewhere. So why do people always assume that when somebody does something stupid, that they should have had a father in the home? Everybody has a family. And I'm not talking blood, I'm talking family. Either a mom and a dad, two moms, two dads, a dad and two moms, two or three moms and three or four dads. It doesn't matter. Grandparents can be parents, an aunt or an uncle, or two aunts, an older sibling. It doesn't matter who is raising the person. If that person wants to go and shoot up a school or shoot up a nightclub because they don't like gays, or because they got a bad grade in their high school, or because they were being bullied, that's on them. That's not necessarily the parents, grandparents, siblings, neighbor. It's like my son threw a glass on accident. It slipped out of his hand, but he still threw it. And when it left his hand, it cracked a small vase. He was so worried about it. Does that mean he's going to grow up to shoot up a school? Because I didn't punish him? Or because his family isn't birth mom, birth father? Like, how is that going to work for him? Who's going to say that he's messed up because he doesn't have, a mom or a dad or whatever people think is a normalized family these days? And it's not just one place. Like, it's not just in YouTube chat or Facebook chat or on Google. It's everywhere. I'm at work at the store. People come in talking about how the shootings are horrible and they bet that shooter had a messed up family life. He may have. It's very possible he may have. But what if he didn't? Would the parents still be to blame? Are the parents to blame? There are so many people living in this world, and we only hear about the horrid ones. We don't hear when some 10-year-old girl wins a spelling bee, or when some 14-year-old boy gets his soccer goal and, their school gets to go to state. We don't hear about stuff like that. We don't hear when the little African American girl wins a spelling bee. We don't hear when the little Chinese boy helps invent something for his state fair. We don't hear stuff like this. We hear about shootings. We hear about gun violence. We hear about bullying, cyberbullying, in-person bullying, bullying your neighbor, bullying your classmate. We hear about all that. But yet, everybody always says it's because that person didn't have a father in the home. That may be true for some. Very, very possible and probable that it is true for some. But that should not be the first thing that everybody jumps to. Because I know a lot of single mothers that have been out there and they have raised decent, kind, caring, loving sons and daughters. I have known of single mothers raising children that have become lawyers and doctors, judges, police officers, accountants. I have seen single fathers raise their children to become the same. I have seen grandparents raising their grandkids as their own. And those children have flourished and become great. Some are still in the making. Some are still young. Are they going to grow up and go shoot up a school because their grandma's watching them and not their dad? Because their dad's not in the home? So that comment of should have been a dad in the home really needs to stop. Because for one thing, that's putting down single parents. That is putting down the mothers that are going out and working their asses off and making the money while their loser-ass husbands or boyfriends are ditching child support payments and, on the run so they don't go to jail for this or that, or are already locked up, or out making other kids that they forget about certain kids. There's a lot of single moms out there that is being dismissed over one simple comment. Should have been a dad in the home. How is that fair? How is that a fair statement? Like I said, it's a possibility. If a dad had been in the home, kid might have turned out okay. Kid might not have. For everybody that keeps making those should have had a dad in the home comments, what if that dad was home? What if he was coming in every night, beating the mom, molesting the daughter, beating the son, breaking everything, stealing the money for drugs? Is that okay because the father was in the home? Is that kid going to turn out okay because the father was in the home? Or if that kid goes out and does something, is it going to be okay? Dismiss it because it's the father's fault because of his actions, of what he did every day that he came home. See where I'm going with this? Think about it for a minute. Not every father needs to be in the home. Not every mother needs to be in the home. If that child has to live with a mother and a father, and one of them is going to be drunk, high, abusing them in many ways, not just one, that parent doesn't need to be there. And if that mother or that father takes that child and goes out and finds a home, has a job, creates a homestead there, supporting that child, loving that child, feeding that child, bathing that child, then why does that other parent have to be there? They don't. Because you can get messed up on either side of this. You can get messed up because you have an abusive father or mother or grandparent or older sibling, whatever, in the home. Or you can get messed up because you don't have a parent in the home. How about if we start looking at it differently so that we're not putting down all those single parents that are trying to raise their children right, and then their child goes psycho and does stupid shit? Because a lot of them have siblings, and the siblings don't go crazy. The siblings go on to become doctors and lawyers and whatever. But that one kid, that one young adult, or that one middle-aged person that, was a serial killer for 20 years and never caught, they're not messed up because they don't have one parent in the home. They're messed up because they're messed up. And everybody has the right to think what they want. I'm not telling you not to say it again, because I know everybody's going to be saying it again. It's kind of the trend nowadays. Should have had a father in the home. But next time, before anybody stops and starts to write that, think about it. What do those words actually mean? Who are those words dismissing? Not having a father in the home or a mother, all it's saying is that the person that raised that child or that young adult didn't do a good enough job. But we don't know what they had going on behind the scenes. We don't know why that other parent isn't there. We don't know if maybe the real parent isn't there, but maybe there was a step parent that was there. Maybe there was somebody trying to guide that child. Maybe that child or that young adult just didn't care. Maybe that child or that young adult just wanted to go and do whatever the hell they are doing. Does it really mean that the father should have been in the home? Bit controversial here. But if you think about it, and you look back, and you study the cases, and you study many of them, you will see that a lot of them did have both parents in the home. You will see that a lot of them had an abusive parent in the home. You will see that a lot of them had a drunk or high parent in the home. But you will also see that a lot of them had decent, loving, caring parents in the home. And they still turned out the way they did. Just something to think about. Because every time I see the should have had a father in the home statement, all that's saying is that it's dismissing the hard work and the effort that that single mother is busting her ass to do. Or that single father is busting his ass for his kids. In order to talk about one, another set is being dismissed. And that's not right. Each family has their own dynamics. Each family has their own issues. And sometimes not having a father in the home is what was necessary to save that child. What they do when they grow up, that's on them. We'll see where it goes from now on. Talk to y'all later.